Today's video is terms, expressions, and equations. Okay, consider this expression. 4f plus 6p plus 3. So the 4 and the 6 in this expression are named the coefficients. So they are the number that sticks on with the letter. And remembering that the fancy word for the letter is the pronumeral. So in this expression, the f and the p are the pronumerals. The 3 is the constant term. So no matter what values f and p turn out to be, the 3 will never change. So that's why we think of it as being constant. And this expression is made up of 3 terms. So 4f, 6p and 3 are 3 separate terms that all make up the expression. Think of an expression as being like a sentence, and the terms are the words in that sentence. And remember that an expression does not contain an equal sign. In algebra, we have to be able to read a sentence and construct our own expression that will help us figure out how to use the information. So for example, our first part here says the sum of A and 3. So remembering that sum is a word we use in maths for addition, the way that we would rewrite this one would be the sum of A and 3. If we have a look at our second one over here, we have 9 less than B. So we start with B and we want our expression to say 9 less than B, so the correct way to write that would be B take away 9. Example C says twice the value of C. So we want to be able to write an expression that says twice the value of C. So we want C times 2. Remembering that in algebra we don't use the multiplication sign and this number comes before the letter, we will have 2C. And one final example is D divided by 5. Now, this is how we would start off, D divided by 5. And in algebra, like how we don't use the multiplication sign up here, we also don't use the division sign. So instead of writing D divided by 5, we write it as a fraction. So we write it like this. So one thing to write in your notes for you to remember is that in algebra we never use the multiplication sign or the division sign. We either squish them together if it's multiplying or change them into a fraction if it's division. A little bit different to an expression is an equation. So an equation is like an expression except that it has an equal sign in it. So for example, 3g plus 4h plus 5 equals 27 is an equation. So having a go at writing some equations which suit the following, and just to note that we don't need to at the moment be able to work out the answer. So how could we write 5 is subtracted from a number and the result is 13? So first of all we need to, with this bit, a number, we need to assign a letter. So for example we could say we're going to use X to represent the mystery number. So now we can say we have a number, 5 is subtracted, and the result is 13. So that is now an equation that expresses what our what we started with. Okay, the second example, the product of 12 and another number. We can say y for this one is 36. Now remembering that the product means multiplication, we can write this one as the product of 12 and another number. So 12 times a number equals 36. And we can write this more simply by taking out that multiplication sign. 12y equals 36. Okay, and finally the total cost of 2 tables and 8 chairs is $150. So for this one, we're going to use T to represent tables and C to represent chairs. So this one will be a little bit different because we're going to have 2 unknowns, 2 pronumerals in our solution. So when we write that one out, so we have 2 lots of tables, so 2 tables, and so plus 8 chairs, and our total cost is $150.